This is a colleague announcement. Would John Jones come to the octagon? That's John Jones to the octagon. Thank you. It's been almost 3 years since we saw John Jones fight. He's been out as long as COVID and popping up just as frequently to be like, hey, still here guys, still here, still alive, not kicking. That's all we ask of you, John Jones. You know, we'll pop up and like beat up a woman or get kicked out of his gym or fight all of his battles through his keyboard. This teaser for John Jones 2, the heavyweight, has been dragged out long enough. Release the full feature or free up the airtime. He was supposed to be fighting Stipe this very weekend, upcoming, that one. Or was it Ngannou? Or was it a pregnant lady from the comfort of his own car? It's hard to keep up, despite the buzz about town. If you put your ear to the ground and your finger on the pulse and other body parts on other things that you may or may not have permission to put them on, I don't think it was ever really likely to be Ngannou this weekend. He had scores to settle with the promotion that didn't seem to be going anywhere, and he just had surgery. But Stipe, woo, Stipe baby, he wanted John bad. I don't know where this is going. He wanted to welcome him into the realm of the big boys with a nice rib-crushing hug, you know, while lying on the ground, and maybe there'll be some hammer fists involved. Now, Stipe hasn't fought since Francis knocked him out in March 2021, and I've been counting the days since I last saw one of the numerous loves of my life. Got a lot of love to give, mostly towards really dangerous men. Is this therapy session? Is this therapy? And Jones has never fought at this weight class before, so it was certainly an intriguing little rumour that was flying around. But Stipe said that the offer that he got from the USC, the UFC, wasn't good enough. And how dare they disrespect my boy like that? Now don't mistake my disdain for disinterest. John Jones is the villain, right? I want to see what he's got at heavyweight. That glimmer of hope that he might get beat. Like, no one was offering that at his former weight class. And Stipe's an actual hero, so who better, in my eyes, than to vanquish that foe? There's no alcohol in this. It's just one of them days. So Stipe had like the experience of the weight class and that kind of natural comfort in his own body, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And his own abilities, and has been tested, etc, etc. But it gave us that glimmer of hope. It was intriguing, it was exciting, I was here for it. But I just don't tend to let myself get hyped up about guys, little boys, who cry wolf for 3 years. I've got better things to focus on, like, you know, a reality. Just give me a shout when it's concrete, babes. March 4th? Ngannou? Gone? Blades? Whatever. Tell me when the contract's signed. Just because I'm honest in my analysis of why I am here for Jones moving up a weight class doesn't mean that that's how I believe it will play out. Hope ain't something you can hang your hat on. I promise you premium nonsense, and you're getting the grunt of it. Grunt of it. Fucking hell. If we removed everything we knew about John Jones outside of the octagon, including the fact that he's been off his tits for his entire career, it would be impossible to not love John Jones. Yeah. If it was based entirely on the fights and not the disgusting damaged human producing them. I don't think there's a person in the world that would argue against him being the GOAT. And here is a list of reasons. Is this really annoying? Or is that just that ASMR? If I come to edit this and it's just this noise, probably preferable for everyone. Here's a list of reasons why I believe that Jon Jones stands a great chance at being just as dominant in his, if you believe it's ever going to come into fruition, new weight class. 1. He's not small. He's not a small boy. Not a small little boy. 6'4" of him. Longest reach in the entire world, I believe, of UFC. And its entire history. Got that skinny little frame. Someone slip me something. Take a beat to breathe and get control of our eyeballs and eyebrows. His skinny little frame gives the perfect foundation to pile on those muscular pounds, as opposed to, you know, trying to get that muscle on a thick boy, someone with naturally broader bones than a chosty little skeleton, while still hitting the heavyweight limit. He was already strong, and now we're looking down the barrel of Ngannou strong. Superman strong. Plenty strong. Sometimes I despair. Ooh, pretty baby. He can remove the threatening power of the heavyweights with those frickin' kicks, man. We got lads like Ngannou, Aspinall, dodgy knees, dodgy biscuit knees, made of rich tea biscuits. And they aren't gonna thank Jon for a cheeky little push kick to the side of their appendages. Is that an appendage? What classes as an appendage? Is it just a euphemism for... And the damage that he does to the legs will mean that they can't sit down into their punches and produce that power that maybe is their advantage over someone who's not a natural heavyweight. He's a freaking genius in the clinch, to the point where any kind of strength advantage that his opponents may have, neutralized, out of there. Not even worth talking about, except I am for this. He likes to strategically use his height and some shoulder cranks to really torque that fucker. Or he uses wrist control to lure them into a false sense of security where they expose their soft bits. Ready for some... I'm going crazy. To expose all their soft bits for some lovely elbows and knees. He's nearly impossible to take down. He is impossible to hold down as far as anything we've ever seen. He uses those Mr. Tickle arms to hook his opponent's legs and defend his takedowns. Defend their takedowns. He doesn't need to defend his own takedowns. And he also widens his own ridiculously long stance to prevent wrestlers from connecting, giving themselves a little handhold. If you get anything from this video, please let me know in the comments. If it's just a fucking headache, take your sass elsewhere, love. And he's incredibly creative. We're seeing more of this in the heavyweights that are currently ascending, the new breed, but not the ones that Jones will likely face, at least to begin with. If his divisional debut is against someone like Ngannou, Blades, then he'll be up against raw freaking power and toughness, durability, but not unpredictability or creativity. Now, Jones is an incredible technician, but if Francis can brute that fucker out, keep moving forward, and land summit with the full force of Francis behind it, woof! Woof! Jones might be in for beddy buys. And of course, it's a complete unknown. So there is a chance that this new weight class won't suit him. The extra heft, the time away, the inexperience against this weight of fighter, this amount of power, this different breed of natural big boy athlete. Heavyweights are evolving. He may not be prepared for the up and coming animals. But even as I say all these things that are a possibility, my brain is shouting at me, what the fuck are you talking about? It's motherfucking John Jones. There is no explanation that science can give us, I've asked, as to why he is so damn prolific. And science, or just like watching it with our eyeballs, we are not getting those answers this weekend. Mad about it, if we're honest. Or potentially ever. I think, like I said, I think the new rumour is it's going to be March 4th, but fool me once, John Jones, whatever the rest of that phrase is. I refuse to give a single shit until the goat starts galloping towards that cage. The goats gallop. Frolic till John Jones starts frolicking towards that cage. Okay? So, shall we move on to another matchup that we're not getting next weekend? This is the content you came here to see. Tell us, Lolly. Tell us all about the things that are not true. After the belt was freshly wrapped around his waist, Jiří Procházka became a little bit of a flirt, actually, offering up the hope of a title shot to all the boys. All the boys. But eventually, he and the UFC, together, in perfect harmony, decided to give Glover another chance to continue his epic storyline and potentially become a two-time champ at his grand old age. But also, potentially give Jiří the closure that his little wild man heart desires. He wants a clean win. Those are his words. Because to most people, choking someone and forcing the tap is a clean win. You know, there's not a lot of arguing with consciousness, and Glover knew that. But Jiří is looking at the fight as a whole, and if it had just lasted another, 30 seconds and gone to the judges, he wasn't liking his chances, or he wasn't confident in his chances. He just wants to show the world that that performance is not who he is. To show that he is a true champion in full power. Looking, good for coming good on that. Sometimes English is difficult. Launching himself into training. Why are you mad? Come on, stretch it out. Ooh, girl, you mad. Launching himself into a training schedule in a way that only Jiří can. He knows that the mind quits before the body does. So he's constantly doing all this inner work to make sure that he has the foundation to push himself further physically. He spent 3 days locked in a dark room with no food and just his demons for company, so that those demons wouldn't come out, when it was more important, like at the gym or in the octagon. He refers to it like, you have to die in here so that you can reach that next level in training. Sort of like a rebirth, a shedding of anything that was holding him back following that last fight, a clean slate on which to build a more complete and prolific fighter. A phoenix from the flames, whatever frickin' analogy works for you. I'm not here to tell you how to do anything, really. I don't have the qualifications. Thanks to these boosted meditation techniques and determination to improve upon his life performance, I was all set with butterflies in my belly to welcome a better, more intense champion into, if that's possible, into the octagon. And on the other side of the cage, riding the tailwinds of his mate Alex Pereira's recent title victory, while also potentially soaking up a fair few of his skills, I was hoping Glover was going to bring some fresh looks and maybe that extra 1% that he needed last time to get him past Jiří's weapons. But no, Jiří got injured, bust his shoulder right up, and he did what we could have all guessed a fucking ledge like Jiří would do, vacated the belt so someone else could have a crack. Now Glover was offered Ankalaev for the title shot, and he was like, nah, it's a completely different style of fight I love. I need some more time. What about Jan? And they were like, nah, played out, we don't want that one, nah. And he was like, okay, what about Ankalaev, but in February in Brazil? And they were like, nah, it sounds like we'd have to wait. It sounds, we used to get in our own way, so how about I hear what you're saying, but Ankalaev in like 2 weeks' time? And he was like, little wiggle room, little compromise. And they were like, no. So he rejected the offer, and they just erased that matchup from the blackboard, shifted the Jan Ankalaev fight up, and we all got shafted. Like, we were getting that fight anyway, it's a good fight, but we were already getting it. Yeah, it's got a title on the line now. Big whoop. Now Jan was already pre the whole Glover matchup, pre the whole him fighting Ankalaev matchup, was already campaigning for the next title shot against Jiří, and for a while it looked like Jiří was gonna let him have it, and then he was like, psych, dance for me a bit longer, babes. The power's really gone to his head, and for many it seemed like, it's only a matter of time until Ankalaev was challenging for the title. So, they've been fast-tracked a little bit, but no one can argue that these guys don't really deserve it. They were all in the running, they were all in that melting pot. Ankalaev, for example, after 9 straight wins, can you argue that he isn't ready for this? And a lot of people think that him getting his grubby mitts on that belt is inevitable, written in the stars. But Jan ain't having it. And let me tell you something about Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz. Monsieur Jan Blachowicz. He is a fascinating case study. When he first joined the UFC, he struggled. And it was really hard to pinpoint why. Like, he had all the skills, kickboxing, wrestling, submissions, but something wasn't clicking. And then he decided to work on his cardio, and it all came together, baby. It meant that he could allow those skills to come through for longer, harder, faster, you get the picture. And then his confidence came through with it, and that was the real turning point. And speaking of confidence, his opponent has really been feeling themselves recently. Following his first ever headline event, Ankalaev spoke about the fear of the 5 rounds and how that will not hold him back now, but he knows that he can do it. He knows he can trust his cardio and he can trust his resilience across 25 minutes. Now these two are like anti-celebrities. Like last week I was talking about creepy party Kevin Holland and all his self-promotion. These two, complete opposite. Complete freaking opposite. But Dana's having a goddamn heart attack at how respectful and soft-spoken they both are. But they're also both incredible strikers. In fact, we may just be about to see a kickboxing fight. Jan really manages distance well. He picks his strikes really intelligently. He fights off the back foot and really picks his opponent apart with kicks as they try to advance. But Ankalaev loves to throw that left head kick and just get guys out of there. Jan is hard to take down, but he does make mistakes when he gets there, which is probably, if we're being smart about it, going to be Magomed's greatest, easiest path to victory. The Dagestani Sambo master generates incredible power from his knees and just mauls his opponents from top position. He also does amazing work in the clinch, really letting those elbows and knees fly with extreme precision and going for those collar ties liberally. And his takedowns are fast and powerful enough that I reckon he will be able to control Jan, take this to the mat, and take this whole shebang one step closer to someone from Dagestan holding every belt across every weight class, across every promotion, which seems to be where we're going. However, Jan is a BJJ black belt, and Magomed's BJJ hasn't really been tested. Jan has finished 9 of his opponents by submission. So Jan may want to lean on his jiu-jitsu. What I'm saying is, I was hoping it was a kickboxing match, but maybe that's not the smartest thing. It's a fun fight, but we're already getting this fight. You know, I'm greedy. I feel like if a fight has been cancelled, I should get another exciting fight. Let me know in the comments, where, you know, talk to me about 282, talk to me about, how do you think Jiří injured himself? Sword, tree, demons. Did they come back and get him? Like, subscribe, come hang out on Insta and read my occasional ramblings on Twitter. In fact, encourage me on Twitter, because I can feel that light dying. And come back next week, because we'll be actually watching 282 and seeing what the frick happens. Love ya!